All right, everybody. It's your boy Dave from the 408 from the Shoeshine podcast. Got a very special interview. I got my boy Philly Irish, Mr. Drew Evo is here with me. Drew, what's up?
Chilling. What's up with you?
Oh man, it's excited. We got a great guest today. Prince Badhi, Canada's knockout artist sensation, 10-0. Prince Badhi, thanks for coming on the show with us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Lucas, you're 10-0. You happen to be in the hottest division in boxing right now, 135 pounds, undefeated. You've knocked out everybody. You're working closely with Phil Lo Greco, who American fans are really familiar with. He's your manager. Everybody wants to know what's it going to take to get you into the U.S. as soon as possible so we can see what you could do with these people here, man. Tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, like right now we're working on getting some fights in the U.S. Obviously that's where we want to be. That's where the lightweight division is currently at. So we're kind of playing it by ear, trying to get fights lined up. We're looking at my next fight to be hopefully the beginning of May, and hopefully make my American debut.
Yeah, so for people who haven't heard of you yet, what was your amateur record?
Yeah, I had roughly about 100 fights, roughly 85 and 14, something like that. But I was national team for about 4 or 5 years, multiple time national champion as a senior. I was an Olympic alternate in 2016. Kind of got shafted by the politics in Canada, but I mean it is what it is. I'm meant for the pros. I got a professional style, and that's where I'm at. 10-0 as a pro, 10 knockouts, and looking to further my career into the States.
Yeah, I did hear you on some other interviews about the politics of Canada's amateur system, and the unified champion Teofimo Lopez has expressed his frustration too. Now he's someone that didn't qualify or make the Olympic team, and he did away with that, and he's sitting on top of the division. And this division is just stacked because I'm sure there's so many names. We'll get into the names and maybe see who you could see yourself with against. Most definitely.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was actually on a bus with Teofimo, sitting beside him in Venezuela in 2015 at the Continental Championships, and I remember talking to him, and he was fighting for Honduras at the time, right? And I remember talking to him and his dad, who was on the trip, about what was happening with him on the American team. And it was funny that we were in the same situation at the time.
Teofimo Sr. is no stranger to our radio network, the Leave It in the Ring radio network. He expressed and discussed the story on our podcast network. So, that's really interesting. But anyhow, you've now made the transition from amateur to professional. And so people are probably interested in how you would self-describe your style. I mean, I thought I saw something about you describe yourself as Mexican style, and you fought in Mexico recently, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've had quite a bit of fights in Mexico, just because I'm hungry to get fights, right? I mean, like I started off my career fighting 9 fights in 9 months, so I was flying out the gate until obviously it came to a stop, but once last year March hit, right, and boxing kind of went on a pause for, I don't know, like until the summer, until Top Rank started having their shows. But I'm looking to stay busy in 2020. Once I get my first fight out of the way in May, I plan on fighting steady. Like I want to keep busy. I mean, my fights don't last long anyway. Once I land some big shots, the fights don't carry on. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I hear you. You're 10-0. I mentioned that already, with 10 knockouts, consecutive knockouts. Do you find yourself in a predicament with like Edgar Berlanga Jr., who was Prospect of the Year last year? There's another kid we just interviewed, Jesus Ramos Jr. from PBC. They're almost all knockout wins, and they're finding it a hard time to get people that are going to go rounds with them. Do you think that maybe you've been facing that in your professional career?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, the you got to properly get managed by these guys and pick the right fights at the right time, right? I mean, a lot of these top prospects, they sometimes they jump too soon. I mean, I'm 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 on the way of getting into that into that world class scene where I'm picking the right fights,
At the
getting
right time.
ranked. Yeah, exactly. Getting ranked and slowly making my way to the top. I mean, I plan on making some big jumps this year, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the future for me.
Yeah, most definitely. If you get this fight in the U.S., I'm sure you would love the fight more than. I mean, you had 9 fights in 1 year, but again, you're looking to step up the competition, get more rounds in. You're learning on the job as a professional as well. Do you see yourself squeezing in at least 4 fights this year?
I hope to get at least 5 or 6 fights by the end of the year. Like I said, I want to stay busy. I want to fight once a month if I can, but we'll see what Phil has in mind and how the fights come in play.
Yeah, and so people know you're in the gym right now, right? You just finished your day working out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, keeping busy and keeping in shape. You want to pan out? If you're on your phone, you want to show us a little bit of that gym.
yeah. This is where I do my conditioning. Hold on, just a sec. I don't know if I can flip this camera.
And if you want to give a shout out to that gym, you're based out of Niagara Falls area, right? Just over the
Yeah,
like, imagining New York, upstate New York is right across the water there.
yeah. I'm literally right by the border right now, actually. So this
Yeah,
is this is McLean's gym, strength and conditioning, here in the Falls. This is where I do my conditioning, my cardio, everything like that. And my boxing gym right now is kind of up in the air. Everything's closed down right now, so it's just I don't really have access to a boxing gym right now. But I mean, nobody's sparring right now anyway.
right.
But I mean, I'm hoping to get out of Canada and go to the States, get some sparring. Probably in April. I'm hoping for before my fight.
Yeah. So your manager Phil, he made great use of social media to land himself in some huge fights. American boxing fans are going to remember Phil for courageously taking on Errol Spence like on weeks' notice, being ready, being in shape, and getting in the ring with Errol Spence, who some people still think he's the top welterweight in the world. Right? Is that a strategy that you and Phil are going to employ going forward to attract the names of these big stars like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, these other guys that are making a lot of noise in the division?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like we originally wanted to build something big in the Falls here. Um, I don't know what's gonna play out in the near future in the next year or two, based on this coronavirus here. But I mean, yeah, I'm definitely ready for these guys. Like I
We're talking here with Prince Badhi, knockout sensation from Canada, 10-0, and we were just talking about strategies to get him into the U.S. and attract some of these bigger fights. I'm thinking of the Toronto scene because I'm interviewed Samuel Vargas, who's used some of those same tactics to get some big fights, man. Let's talk about some of these guys at 135 that you can see yourself fighting next year. Are you a fan of any of them, or are any of them guys that you're anxious to get in the ring with?
I don't really care who I fight. I mean, I'm a fighter. I'm willing to fight anybody. So it's just whatever happens happens. I mean, whoever wants to fight, I'm ready to fight. I'm open to fight any of them. I don't really care. Whatever my manager Phil wants. I mean, I'm a fighter, so I'll be ready.
Right. And let's go. Let's go to my co-host, Philly Irish. Oh man, you know Philadelphia people, they love boxing. Drew, you had a question.
Being from Canada, with all the good fighters that came from Canada, like Donna Stevenson, John Pascal, Lucian Bute, do any of them punt as a influence on your career?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of all three of them, especially Adonis. I mean, he was more my type of fighter, right? Knockout artist. So I mean, of course, I looked up to those guys. I want to follow it from what they did, winning world titles, stuff like that. But yeah, like I'll be ready when the time comes. Work my way up in the divisions and go from there.
So Lucas, he brought up all these great Canadian talents that have been, some of them have been world champions. Lucien Boutet held the title for many consecutive fights. Adonis Stevenson, light heavyweight, Jean Pascal, all of these, and even Lennox Lewis. And one thing that they all have in common, many of them are immigrants of other countries. Do you feel that Canada welcomes fighters from other countries and adopts them as their own, maybe in a way that America doesn't?
You know what? No, I mean it's the same thing in America. I mean, you guys got the same thing going on where you got all these guys from these Russian countries and stuff like that coming in and from the amateurs, right? Coming in from the Olympics and the World Championships and whatnot, and going on to win world titles. So I mean, it's the same sort of setup. I mean, we got like guys like Arthur Beterbiev. Who else is there right now?
There's a long list of them. So,
yeah, there's a long list of them. I mean, they get scouted from the amateurs, right? That's just how they do it.
You're anxious to throw your name in the ring and potentially be Canada's next world champion. You envision that in the next 2 years, an opportunity for a world title fight?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm on my way there. I'm on the right track. I'm 10-0, 10 knockouts. I mean, once it's changed nowadays, you know, like guys are fighting for world titles at 14, 15, 16-0. So in the next year or two, I'll be ready for that 100%.
Most definitely. Drew, was there a fighter you had a question for him that you thought maybe he would match up stylistically well with a certain fighter in the division?
Like I would think that if he's looking for a fight that's like the top tier of the list to get him on the ball and to getting bigger fights, does he think Luke Campbell would be a good name for him to fight?
Yeah, 100%. Luke Campbell just he was on the cusp of fighting for these world titles and winning world titles. Every time he stepped up to world class competition, he came up short. So I think Luke Campbell is one of those guys where you have to beat to make it to the world title, to make it as a world title challenger to get to that next level.
Lucas, I'd so appreciate you coming on and talking to the Shoeshine and introducing yourselves to the Leave It in the Ring radio network. I've seen you on so many interviews and watch your highlight clips. I'm looking forward to this potential fight you're going to be having in Florida. You mentioned it in May, and I really hope to talk to you before then or after that fight so we can help you promote that. And I want to give thanks to Phil Lo Greco for having you be a part of this show today, man. Anything you want the fans to know about you?
I mean, just follow me on social media. You'll see what I have to bring to the table, and you'll see what I have coming in the future. I appreciate you guys reaching out and doing this interview with me. I really respect that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I did have one question that I wanted to make sure, and I totally forgot about it, but the name Prince Badhi, is it a throwback homage to Prince Nassim? Was that a fighter that you looked up to?
100%. 100%. Knockout artist, just a showman in the ring. I mean, I'm not that flashy, but he was one of my favorites.
Yeah, but could you see yourself becoming more flashy as the career progresses? Incorporating the flair? Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Got to learn how to do some flips and stuff like that, but I mean, that will come.
Drew, you wanted to say one last thing? Ask him a question.
Yeah. How many divisions do you plan on competing in throughout your career? Since you're 5'9".
5'9". Yeah, not quite.
Nope. Well, he makes a good point. Would you be? Would you be willing to step up and weight up to 140 if the opportunity arose? I mean, you're making a big splash.
My plan is to make a statement at the lightweight division for now. I mean, I got to take care of business here, win some world titles, move up to 140, win some world titles, and who knows, maybe 147. We'll see what happens. But like I said, right now I'm taking care of business in the lightweight division.
Right on. Prince Badhi. You can find him at Prince Badhi. And thank you for coming on our show today and introducing yourselves to our friends and families here in the States for the Leave It in the Ring radio network and the Shoeshine Lucas, take care of yourself. We wish you the best of luck and hope to see you after a win in the U.S.
Definitely. Thank you guys for having me.